So if we're going to understand and ultimately get along with other people and with ourselves, there are two foundational assumptions that I think that we need to come from. And I come from these assumptions whether it's in my therapy, in my parenting, in my teaching, in anything that I do. And the first one is that people are inherently good. They want to cooperate with one another, they want to get along with one another, they want to be kind and loving and caring and compassionate to one another. But that hurt people hurt people. So people who have been hurt, often in childhood, in adolescence, people who have been taken advantage of, they're the ones who end up often hurting other people. So they're really in sort of survival mode, they're trying to make sense of the world, and they're going to make sure that they're protected no matter what, even if it ends up hurting other people. So first assumption that we're going to operate from, at least today, if you'll humor me a little bit, is that people are inherently good, but hurt people hurt people. The second assumption is that everyone makes sense once you know the whole story. So ultimately, that makes sense and ties into people are inherently good, but hurt people hurt people. Is that if everyone makes sense, then when we see people being unkind to one another, or when we see people doing things that seem to be taking advantage of other people, those are people who have been hurt. As an example that I like to use, if you are in the grocery store and the person 3 people ahead of you is screaming at the checker, you might think, wow, what a jerk. But if you're walking out after you get done with your order and you hear that same person making funeral arrangements for their child on his cell phone, you might have a different understanding of why they acted that way. Number 2, I'm not good enough, which is the shame scheme. Make the case that probably everyone in this culture has it. Our advertising runs off of it. You're not good enough, we'll buy our stuff and you'll be a little bit better. Oh, that stuff didn't work? Well, we have new and improved stuff for you to buy to make it better so that you can feel good enough. And on and on and on. It never works. We know that it doesn't work. We have literally millennia of data and stories and ideas and art that says that it doesn't work. Yet we continue to do it. The idea is, it's not okay, right? It's not a socially acceptable behavior, but it makes sense once you know the whole story. So often, we never know the whole story. Probably as a therapist, I get the closest to knowing the whole story. And when I know the whole story, the puzzle pieces come together, and in 20 years and over 20,000 therapy sessions, everyone makes sense when I get the whole story. And realize that just because we perceive it that way doesn't make it truth. And we can always look at different ways to perceive things, and thus see things in a different way and experience the world completely differently. Change your cognitions, your thoughts. Change your behaviors, the things that you do. You can change your entire world.